welcome to the latest episode of the So Called Oreos podcast. We're back in the studio this week after having an amazing guest, Kimberly Cummings, with us last time. I'm Amari, today's co-host, today's host, whatever. And I'm here with...
Kia Swinton.
Janae Price. Crap, I don't want to say my last name.
Rachel.
Hey, guys. So how was everyone's week? I mean, personally, I had a shitty one. Oh. Pun very much intended, because a bird literally shit in my hair after my wash day. So
doesn't that mean good luck?
Yeah, that's good luck, Amari.
I think that's some white people shit. I'm sorry. I don't believe in that.
Did you have any good luck?
No, it didn't. I went to the airport.
I don't think it happens right away.
Yeah, it could happen later.
If she doesn't believe in it, then it's not going to happen. So.
Okay,
manifesting.
Okay, Rachel. Well, hopefully it happens, because I went to the airport. I ordered some food, and these guys forgot I ordered food. So I'm just watching people get their food, just standing there. So I don't think it worked. But I did get 2 free drinks last night at the bar.
That's good luck.
Okay, see?
That's good luck, or a thirsty old man.
Here and there,
you know?
You know, we got to take what we can get, you know?
What about you guys? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been like an emotional roller coaster week. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Just a lot. Mercury is in retrograde.
I was just about to say Mercury is damn sure in retrograde.
But like, I have been pretty lucky in terms of the money aspect. So, you know, that's been great. It's been great.
That's always good.
Tax returns. I mean, I was looking at maybe $300. Lord bless me with like almost $3,000.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, is this including the settlement?
No. Girl,
What?
And then on top of it, I got a settlement. And
No,
then
don't be telling people. Don't be telling people shit like that, because they'd be like,
"Oh, y'all!
Trump.
If y'all try to steal it, it's all gone to student loans. So it's not even in my bank account no more."
You know.
And then my baby DJ for radio I referred him for a job at my job, and he got it, and I think that means I get a little bonus.
It does mean you get a little
So
bonus.
I don't know. I've never been this lucky before. I'm really blessed. I wish I'm being greedy, because I'm like, I put a lot of it to student loans and savings, but I'm like, damn, Kia, I want some more for myself.
No,
I also got weekend tickets, turn up, and JoJo tickets. So
Okay.
I'm out here.
Kia is doing the damn thing.
Out here. Spring is my growth. You know, spring usually means growth. You know, so put in a lot of work. Enjoy the summer. That's the goal.
Amen.
That's my update. How are you guys?
I thought I was dying.
Was it your chest?
Yes, I had really bad chest pains on my left side. Turns out it just was stress, and I went to the emergency room.
Oh God!
So I didn't go to the emergency room when I first felt it. I thought it was like gas or like acid reflux, even though I don't have acid reflux. And I waited like 3 days, and that's when it was really bad. And I was at the movies, and I told my boyfriend Daniel, like, I can't take it anymore. We gotta go. But it was just due to stress. It's inflammation, and they gave me ibuprofen. And at the time when she was like, "Oh, we're just gonna give you ibuprofen and you should be fine," I was like, "The fuck!" I could just went to the pharmacy
oh my God,
and spent like $20 on a box of ibuprofen.
How long did you wait there? Like in the emergency room?
I was there from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Yeah, I'm fighting.
At the emergency room, they ran a whole bunch of tests on me. They didn't find anything. I was good. It was just inflammation due to stress. I forgot what they diagnosed me. It's a long ass name, but it's due to stress, heavy lifting, or like strong blows to the chest. And I haven't been lifting anything, and no one has been hitting me in my chest. So I know it was definitely stress.
Well, you know, you got to take care of yourself.
I know, but I've been doing a little bit better. But you just take for granted like how young you are, and like I don't take I didn't take stress seriously, but this was definitely a wake-up call, because it definitely does take a toll on your body. And I know that I talk about this on my segment. And for me, this is like, all right, I definitely have to like change my diet and work out and find ways to control like my stress and anxiety.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn, stress will definitely show itself in very scary ways.
It definitely did.
We're happy you're all right, though.
Yeah,
we're happy
thank
it was
you.
just
For real.
stress and not like
coronavirus. Oh, no.
I wasn't going to say corona.
They did ask me if I traveled, and I'm like, no, I'm
Corona free, huh?
Coronavirus.
I passed. Okay.
My week was pretty groovy.
Groovy.
I also came into some moolah, which this morning I used to settle some debts. So
Yes,
I'm feeling
debt free.
productive. I'm feeling like the most productive Janae that's ever been.
Yes.
Which is great.
Yes, take care of your finances.
What else happened?
Sorry.
What's the dating
Coronavirus.
dating update?
Okay. So I this actually happened a little while ago, but I'm gonna tell you guys about it now. So I went on a date with this guy who I knew automatically, like he had a great personality. We were having good text conversations, but I was kind of like,
He's a little ugly.
Kia.
Anyone that says great personality and straight away from the track, I already know he's ugly.
He's not ugly. He just wasn't necessarily my type, and I was like, let me give this a
Janae
try.
over here trying to be diplomatic.
Nah, he's ugly.
You're all some assholes. Okay? You're all assholes. So
I didn't say nothing. It was Kia.
Anyway, we went on the date. We had a good time, but afterwards I was kind of like,
You ugly.
I could see friendship. Oh, not much more. And I was like freaking myself out about it. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to like broach this. If he tries to like kiss me or if he asks me on another date, I'm going to have to turn him down. I'm going to feel like a dick. And then he never texted me.
Sometimes that happens.
Never texted him.
Yeah.
And I was so relieved because I was like, we are on the same damn page. And that is a phenomenally beautiful thing.
You both ghost each other.
Yeah, we both ghosted each other. And I'm like very, very happy about the way that turned out.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that was a good dating experience. I went out with someone, had a good time, had good, deep, introspective conversation. And then we both decided that, this wasn't a viable situation, so
that's good because it's crazy when people like you'll go on a date and then one person's like, obviously I'm not feeling this. The other person's like, I really want to see you again and date you, and it's like, well, what? Were you not reading the room?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was expecting.
But at the same time, I do think it is fair, like if you're not sure, to then go on another date or with a person, because I feel like it is a lot of pressure on one date to think that you're going to have a soul clear idea. Sometimes you do, and I feel like it's fair if you don't, and then you go on another date just to suss out, like...
That's fair, but after two...
And also, we put a lot of pressure, like, going on the first date. We
right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
To like you, and...
Like, you want this instant love connection, and, like, sometimes that does happen, and then sometimes I feel like it grows or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like if you just really listen to your gut, you could tell, like, the levels of, like it's rare to be like, oh my god, this person's amazing, they're my person, but it's also like, okay, you could tell if they're doing things that you're like, oh, this would annoy me in the future, or I could see us hanging out again, I think it's like if people really just think about their like how they feel, that's a lot of answers, which we're more so of like the paper things like what's his job, what's blah blah blah, but it's also about like, okay, how do you feel?
And that's what I've really been working on strengthening, especially in therapy, working on strengthening that inner voice that tells me like something's not quite right, or you don't feel 100% about that, instead of like second guessing and saying everything here is right on paper, but I don't feel right, so I'm just being stupid. No, it's like just
your feelings are facts.
Exactly. My feelings are facts. Says. My feelings are valid. So it's like just learning to be more in touch with that and listen to those has been a good experience. But
look at that growth all around. On So Called Oreos.
Yep. So proud of you, Janae.
Thank you. Oh my god.
Okay. Sorry to cut this dating segment short.
Nah, we were good. Oh, good.
We do actually really love talking about dating in general. But Kia, what do you have for us this week in Black History?
Okay, y'all, this week in Black History. March 10th to March 12th, 1972, the National Black Political Convention, or the Gary Convention, was held in Gary, Indiana, which gathered around 10,000 African Americans to discuss and advocate for Black communities that undergo significant economic and social crisis. And then on March 14th, 1838, Black people held a mass meeting in Philadelphia to protest the action of the Pennsylvania Reform Reform Convention of 1837, which denied them the right to vote. And I focused on things about voting because it's election year. Ooh. And this was a big week, Super Tuesday, a lot of things going on in election. So I wanted to bring back the importance of how the black vote matters. And I think a lot of us think like, oh, our vote doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. But it's important to remember that, like, especially if you're a black or a woman, you didn't always have those rights. And even now, like, a lot of people internationally don't have those rights. So I think Americans take that for granted. So I just wanted to highlight that, you know?
Yeah. And, like, even looking on Super Tuesday, I mean, that proved just the fact that Biden got back in the race proves that black people have a say and their vote counts 100%. Because it was black Southerners who came out and showed up in droves and voted for Biden. And I feel like everyone for a second forgot he was in the race.
Yeah.
Until Super Tuesday.
But I think he was riding on that because he was like, okay, what was Iowa? You know, there are not a lot of black people. You have like Vegas, which I guess, but like he was really riding on like, I'm going to get South Carolina and Super Tuesday and I'm going to get the black vote. And that's what he was really banking on. And you're right. It just shows like, I think a lot of people like this year are like fighting for like the black vote because that's what matters in the Democratic Party.
And I think it's important to note that I personally feel like more people are fighting for the black vote because of the way that black people didn't necessarily show up in the last election.
For sure.
So I think
But black women. They showed up in droves.
Yes.
But not as much as Obama years.
Exactly. So I think that, you know, I think we're taking a note. And us as a people, aside from black women, because we always here, are really trying to be like, all right, it's time to get our shit together. We really let things slide last time.
Definitely a wake-up call this election.
And speaking of black women, I decided to highlight Simone Sanders, a.k.a. Simone the Sanders, for Black Professionals We Love this week. For those of you who don't know, Sanders is a senior advisor for the 2020 presidential election of former Vice President Joe Biden. And this week on Super Tuesday, she went viral after tackling an anti-dairy protester at Joe Biden's victory speech in LA on Super Tuesday. I don't know if y'all have seen the clip. I've watched it maybe 20 times because this shit is hilarious. This protester comes on stage and you just see Dr. Jill Biden, Joe Biden's wife, like grab the protester and trying to block her away from Joe. And then another protester comes and then Sanders just runs on the stage and tackles her like she's a linebacker or some shit. It was crazy. She deserves a raise because
she definitely does.
She's sacrificing herself for this man and his wife while he's just standing there looking all confused like he has this whole election season. But
I think he has dementia, y'all.
What?
I think Joe Biden really has dementia. Yo, no joke. If you see the videos of him speaking, you're like, bro, he's off.
But all these old white men are off.
Yeah, but he's extra off. That's just my observation.
Let me pay more attention because I did not.
Y'all, look at some videos.
I'll pay more attention. Take some notes.
He hasn't been there. But like during this clip, he looks very much aware of like it takes him a while to realize what's happening, and then he just like kind of stands there. So I just wanted to highlight Simone Sanders because that was some crazy footwork on her part.
Ride or die.
Yeah, really, though. And it's interesting. What's interesting about her is that she first gained prominence as the national press secretary for Bernie Sanders during his 2016 campaign. And there was a little bit of it was a little muddled the way she exited the campaign. No one really knows if she was fired or if she decided to quit. There are different narratives. But I think it's interesting that she was with Bernie Sanders in 2016 and now she's with Joe Biden.
Yeah, that's a switch up.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight her this week. I thought her story was interesting.
Dope.
But again, on the topic of amazing women, it's Women's History Month.
Turn up.
Look at that. Yeah. So before we get started into our conversation, I know Janae was going to tell us a little bit more about how this month came to be.
Yeah, I had some women's history fast facts for y'all. So crazy enough, and while researching this, I found out that women's history wasn't a thing, like as recently as the 1970s, which that's insane. That's literally within our parents' lifetime.
Yeah.
So around 1978, March 8th was chosen as a focal point of observance for women's history. And it started off as Women's History Week. And it was an education task force of the Sonoma County Commission that started it. It was basically just like a group of teachers that decided that this should be a thing. And then after seeing the success and that grow in California, in February 1980, President Carter issued the first week presidential proclamation declaring the week of March 8th, 1980, as National Women's History Week. Word spread, and by 1986, 14 states have already declared March as Women's History Month, and that momentum continued. And by 1987, Congress declared March as National Women's History Month in perpetuity. So that's how National Women's History Month came to be.
And March 8th is International
Women's Day.
Women's Day, yeah.
Yep. And to think that it just started by like a group of teachers. I think of my sister. Shout out if you haven't listened to that, the education episode, go. It's very funny. But that teachers in this country have really done a lot for women, actually, and youth.
Yeah.
But it's amazing.
Shout out to the teachers.
Shout out to the teachers.
Real though. Pay them more.
Yeah, seriously.
Yes, pay them more.
Yeah, but it's interesting because it always starts as like focusing on a day, and then it expands into a week, and then always like takes the president or someone in a higher position to like recognize it as a full-on month. But yeah, women just need to be recognized for all the amazing, incredible things that they have done for this country and for this world. And it's insane because Time magazine recently did a celebration of impactful women, and like created all these different covers, I think, of like 100 influential women. And because there has not been a lot of women chosen for like Person of the Year, which I think is insanely stupid, considering women are half of the population.
Yeah. Was Greta the one this year or no? The little 17-year-old?
That's a good question.
Say the little 17-year-old.
Because she looks young.
She looks like, young. She looks very.
I don't think she's 17. I think she's like 16.
Oh,
or 15 or something like that.
Oh wow. Yeah. I went to get a facial this week, and my esthetician, whatever that's called, she was like, "How old are you?" And I just knew she was going to be like, "You look so young." So I was like 25, and she's like, "Oh, I thought you were 18." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." Yeah, like I guess that means my skin looks good.
I think we all look younger than we actually
I get 18 all the time.
Me too.
I'm just like, but it's really uncomfortable when guys say you look 18. I'm like, why are you talking to me then?
I've been told that I look like a baby in real life.
What?
Like I look like an adult baby.
You definitely don't. And you're also like 6 foot.
I don't know, man.
An adult baby?
This woman came up to me. I was with my mom. I was at Brooklyn Blend. Shout out to you.
She's like, how old's your child?
No, she was like, oh my God, you are so cute. And I was like, thank you. And she was like, you really look like a baby. Just a child, just a baby. Your cheeks are so round. Oh, your freckles. Oh.
Oh my God.
Just like, thanks.
What do you say to that? Yeah, it's like, okay.
But anyway, back on task.
Meanwhile, Greta is an actual child. But yeah, you were right, Kia. She was chosen as Person of the Year.
Oh yeah, okay.
In 2019.
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So I know, like, when we were trying to think of this idea for the next podcast, and we came up with, highlighting Women's History Month, we also talked about like ideas of feminism and what that means, and how, people for some reason have a hard time getting behind the idea of feminism as in general, but then also, I think there are different waves of feminism. So, I mean, I know I've struggled with that word for like my own personal reasons sometimes, not because I'm not a feminist. I'm very much a feminist. But I do believe that, I wouldn't necessarily say America's general idea of feminism can feel very like it isolates a lot of women of color, particularly Black women. So I was just wondering what you guys felt on that topic.
Also, I'd like to give a little definition of feminism because I feel like even now, like, people are like confused about feminism, which I think is crazy. I'm like, what?
Because it's so straightforward.
It's entirely straightforward.
Do you believe in women's rights? Do you
believe the
equality for the sexes?
Equality for the sexes.
Beyonce educated us.
I mean, she shouldn't have to, but like, damn, it's pretty simple. It's just like, do you believe women and men are equal? And people are like, it's just like, what? How y'all don't get that?
And I think it's also just because like they have this really warped idea that feminists are like out here burning their bras and like waving them around, and like that's this kind of stark image of what feminism is. And it's like, if you believe in equality for the sexes, you are a feminist.
Yeah, I love when people are like, my boyfriend's a feminist. It's like, okay, he's a decent person. Congrats. Like, what?
Good for you.
That's like the bare minimum.
Because at the basis, we all should be feminists.
It's like,
literally,
if you're not, that's like being like, that's like congratulating someone for being not racist. It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, what? I don't know. That always baffled my mind when people like have this crazy idea of what feminism is. It's just like, what?
I mean, I know personally, and, in conversations, I get irritated when I talk to men about feminism because some men, the automatic knee-jerk reaction is, I'm a total feminist, but it's like a big but under there. Like, I don't believe in attacking men and all this other stuff. On one hand, that irks me. And then on the other hand, when I'm in spaces with white women who are talking about feminism, I once again get annoyed. So as I definitely identify myself as a feminist, I believe in equality for the sexes, but I do have a hard time kind of identifying in one space when it comes to feminism, I guess.
Can you give an example of like what white women say or something? Like why it's... Because I feel that way too, but I want to hear your response.
I just know for me, it's kind of always this grading factor of, one, looking at the history, right? Where it's kind of like when the fight for women's rights started, Black women put themselves in that fight. Mm-hmm. But once rights started to fall down, it was kind of like, not for y'all though.
Like Susan B. Anthony fighting for the right to vote, but then said, what did she say? I'd rather cut off my arm than let a Black man vote or something.
Yeah. So something like that. Yeah. But basically that. And then just in experiences, just talking to people about rights in general, as a person of color, mentioning my own rights, and then having someone, a white woman, come up and say, and it's hard for me too. Mm-hmm. And it's like, personally, I know that when I walk into the room, I'm seen as Black first. Yeah. Then I'm seen as a woman. The ceiling, the glass ceiling is already like there.
It's already above my head.
It's already above my head. Like, there's shattering that bitch is real tough for me. Yeah. And it's just difficult to, when I'm talking about my own struggle, to hear white women jump in and be like, my struggle too. And it's kind of like,
we're not talking about your struggle right now.
We're not talking about your struggle right now, one. And two, we shouldn't be comparing struggles. And three, if we were going to go toe to toe, you have an easier time in this world than I do.
Yeah, for sure.
And you get paid more.
And you get offered more opportunities, and people believe you more just based off of the color of your skin.
And the world deems you as beautiful.
And the world deems you as beautiful, the standard of beauty. So, I mean...
Yeah, I totally get that. I think with I feel like I've had the same thing with when I hear a white woman talk about feminists or something, I just kind of automatically roll my eyes because I'm just like, what are you fighting for? Because it's like I feel like when we talk about it, it's like we fight for everyone, and it's like we know how much harder it is to get paid, and it has to even how you said beauty standards and stuff like that. And I feel like with them, sometimes it just gets tainted with like they have. It's things, but it's not things that are on a large scale. So it's man spreading and I want to free the nipple, and it's that's all cool and all, but it's let's get to the things that are facts. Let's and then women will be I'm feminist, but not support abortion rights or something, stuff like that. So I'm let's get down to the facts, abortion rights and getting paid and who's getting paid, because actually Asian women get paid more than white women.
I
just want people to realize that too.
I think it goes Asian women, white women,
Black, Latino,
Black and Hispanic,
and then Native American, I think. But it's let's talk about not gender pay. It's let's talk about about, okay, the gender pay gap between white women and black women. Like,
let's talk about the wealth gap.
Yeah, let's talk about the wealth gap. Let's talk about like history of like how white privilege is into that. And I feel like they don't really get that or want to acknowledge that. And I think they're like, oh, you're attacking me, whatever. But it's like, what we just want you to know is that to acknowledge your privilege. And I don't understand why white people have such a hard time like, just acknowledging their privilege. It's always like, well, I'm Jewish and in the Holocaust, we were in the Holocaust too. What's up? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like,
do you guys think that we can ever like come together, like black women and white women, Asian women, and talk about the issues that we face as women in this country? Or do you think that just because we've all had different walks of life and experiences that we will never be able to agree on certain things as women?
No, I think people, if you have privilege, you need to recognize your privilege. Like, that's like the same with like LGBT rights. Like, we would recognize that being a straight person, you do have more privilege and the way that people like look at you and think about you. And same with like, we're not trans. I don't know what it's like to be trans, but I can imagine that's freaking hard. And like, your life is like endangered like all the time. So I think we need to
there's like so many sections of intersectionality of that, like trans rights, gay rights, that a lot of that stems from like black people within those communities, like Martha P. Johnson, all these things. So it's like, I can't, like, as a black person, I don't feel comfortable not saying something for those people because I know that like black people were very much in that movement, and maybe that like what they're going through does not directly impact my life, but I don't feel comfortable not saying that because in my head, hey, as black people, we are highly discriminated against. So I think anyone who's discriminated against deserves to be brought into conversation and movement and like trying to revolutionize. So this feels
like the AIDS epidemic, how it was affecting the black community, and now that the opioid crisis is affecting the white community, now they see that it's an issue, and now they want to implement programs and say that it's a health issue.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like, Rachel, to answer your question, I think it's possible, but I think it would be only possible if we, you know, like people have to recognize their privilege. And I think that's like, again, like, I just don't understand why that's so hard. Like, no one's asking you to like pay us reparations. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, just be like, yeah, you know what? It is hard being a woman, but I can imagine that being a black woman is hard because X, Y, and Z, or like dating is hard. It's harder for you. Like, just acknowledging those things just goes so far. And I just don't think that people realize that, how far it is to just like acknowledge it and just be aware. And then I think also just like checking people around you. So if you hear someone say something ignorant about like an Asian person about like coronavirus, like that is my duty to be like, no, that's messed up. And I don't have to be Asian to realize that's messed up. That's just messed
up.
That's
racist.
Yeah.
And just like piggybacking off of that, what you said, Kia, I think that it is so difficult for a white person, just based off of the things that I've seen at times, to recognize, like a white woman specifically, to recognize it's time for me to speak up for another group of people. Because I know as a black person, if I'm in a room and someone says something racist about an Asian person, a Latino person, any other group of people, I'm something. Like, you're going to call me a nigger behind closed doors.
Exactly.
So I'm going to stand up and say something. And I don't think that that's the way white women think.
No, they don't.
I don't think that, and I don't want to generalize, but I think that there's a distinct difference between saying, I'm at the bottom of the totem pole, so let me help out the people who are below me. Yeah. You know, I don't think that that's there for other groups of people.
I do remember a point in college, because I think that was when all of the unarmed black shootings seem to have come to like a head. And like, you know, like I think it was like 2015, 2016, around that time. And there was like a lot of protests on my college campus. Shout out to Lemoyne. And I was a part of the student group, and we're making signs, and we're getting ready to do like a sit-in during dining hours. And I was trying to get all my friends. And I used to be proud that my friends were such a mixed group of people. I really took pride in that. And I was like, hey guys, like, I'm participating in the sitting. Like, you should do it. You should do it. And they're all like, no, we don't want to do it. And it was really hurtful for me, because these are some white friends I thought were down for the cause. There were some black friends that I thought, like, your ass definitely should be down for the cause. And they weren't there with me. And then my one friend, who was on the lacrosse team with me, made a sign, came, showed up, stood next to me the whole time. And I was just like, I fuck with you, because and she was probably the person that I least expected to stand, like, do the sit-in with me. And she was right there with me. And I noticed, you know, her putting herself into spaces. And that was something I appreciated, because it wasn't something like we discussed. It was just like, when I needed her to show up for me and my people, like, she was there.
Yeah. And that goes such a long way. Like, I think like, people don't realize, like, small things just go so far in life. And just, like, I think the number one thing that makes a difference between people who grow and people who are stagnant is showing up. Yeah. I think that's a big difference. That's like, if you want a job, show up to the networking event. Show up early. Don't be like, oh, I want a job and I'm just going to apply online. Like, okay, yeah, but take it another step. That's what sets you apart. Yeah. Like, do a podcast. Do some research in it. Do something. Like, showing up goes a long way. And, like, I think for your friend to do that is amazing. And I don't even think she realized how, like, impactful that is for you. But it's just, like, showing up, especially when you have privilege, it's like, it just goes a long way. Like, use your voice. And it's like, we can all sit here and complain like the world sucks, but it's like, okay, white people complain about the world sucks, but y'all have the most privilege and the most thing to do anything with it. You sit there and let your parents say racist stuff all the time. You just sit back and don't do anything, and you're like, oh, I wonder why the world sucks. It's like, okay,
you're part of the problem when you become a bystander.
And I just and I just want to make a note. We will get into a more positive discussion, but we just got to bring out the facts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and like like you said, like that, like it may seem like small things, but that stuff sticks with you. Like, I think about that on a regular basis. I also think of, we went to this Latino night at SU, Syracuse University, and it was a talk. And so we went into the room and we're sitting there and a bunch of people are coming in, and she's just looking around the room and she turns to me and she was like, I'm the only white person here. She's like, I've never been the only white person in a room. And she was like, is this how you feel? Like, all the time? And I was just like, yes, because like, I'm like, I could never, like, I would verbalize or try to verbalize that to people, but they didn't get it. And then for her to be in that room and to, like, finally get that, I was just like, yes, like, I just appreciated that moment.
Yeah. The fact that she asked you, like, is this how you feel all the time?
That's amazing.
You know, she wants to understand, as your friend, what you go through on a day-to-day basis. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I also don't think a lot of people would do that or say that. Like, and I think a lot of people, like, I remember, you know, in high school, because it's, you know, the white, very white space. But I remember, like, I think one time it was like the basketball team is mostly black or something, and then one of my white friends was like, oh, I'm the only white person here, and I'm like, this is how we feel every day in school. Like, it's just like, sometimes they just don't get it until they're in the space. But I think it's like amazing to be like self-aware and be like, oh, this is how you must feel.
And I think that's amazing that your friend asked, is this how you feel, instead of saying something like, oh, well, I'm the only white person here.
Poor me.
Wow, that's so weird. I'm the only white person here. I felt a little uncomfortable. I'm the only white person here. Like, I think that's amazing that she asked you that. And I personally think that I've also been blessed to be able to surround myself with white people who are more, I don't want to use the word woke because it's kind of played now, but more just aware. More aware of, you know, the differences that we face and are willing to have conversations about it and are cool with just letting me, I don't know, vent about the dumb things that in the world connected to white people and privilege. So
I want to bring up two things really quick.
Bring it up.
We were talking about our previous employer, and how, so 2 years ago, Black History Month, it was when Black Panther came out. We did this, a lot of black people at the job. We did this whole month planning about, like, bringing in black-owned businesses for lunches, planning this Black Panther screening, just doing a bunch of stuff for Black History, and it was really amazing. And then a week after that...
And hold on, to piggyback on that, we were going hard for this. Like, we have our 9-to-5 jobs, and then on the side, we're doing all of this extra work to put together events for Black History Month for the company.
Like, all month. It was just, like, a lot of work. Like, obviously, no one was paying us extra. We just wanted to bring the culture to the company, and it was like, we don't mind putting in the work.
I was putting together an entire panel, and Kia was organizing lunches.
Just to get black people paid.
Just to get black vendors into the office.
And I was really passionate about it because I'm like, you know, support black-owned businesses. Like, I really want to do this. I really want to get money into these businesses and stuff. I was really passionate about that whole month. And then I think, like, right after the month ended, the white women were like, we should do something for Women's History Month. They were just like, it's Women's Women's History Month right after. We should do it. And like, guys, they literally stole every single idea. It wasn't it wasn't even an attempt to be different. It was like, okay, we're gonna do white no, it wasn't white owned, but it was all white women. It was like women businesses, and we're gonna do a panel with women. And
I think they took one of the black women owned vendors that you had to.
Yeah, they deliberately took the black woman I got, and she came up to me and she's like, "Oh, Kia, they asked me to do this," and I just was like, "What?"
Which is great. I mean,
it was great, but I was just like, seriously, there's so many. How many restaurants in New York City, and y'all took the one that I brought in, and you want to get credit for that? Like, that pissed me off. And then
white women have a history of doing that.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, but it was honestly, guys, it was so obvious that they had took every single they had took every single vendor and not vendor, but every single idea we had really planned for Black History Month, and they just took it, and I just couldn't believe how open they were about taking it.
Yeah.
It was just really disheartening. I was just like, this is disgusting. This place sucks. And the second thing is that I was talking to my friend yesterday about the election and stuff, and he was talking about how he sees white feminism in the election cycle, and he was saying how the press, no one, talked about Tulsi. I don't know if you guys are familiar. She's still in the race, but she's
still there. Oh,
she's still in. Yeah, and because everyone's like, oh, there's no women running, but Tulsi's still in there. I agree. She probably should drop out. But he was just saying that, during this whole election cycle, no one really, the press never highlighted her. It was just Amy and Elizabeth Warren, and how he felt like that was very white feminism, and how no one was shining a light on her. And he was just like, I just think if it's not intersectional, it's not feminism. It's really nice to hear that from a black male friend. Too.
Yeah.
I do think that's interesting, especially I think also because Tulsi Gabbard's a little bit of a, I don't know, I feel like at least in the political cycle, from what I've read about her and all the stuff, she's a complicated person.
She is.
But not a complicated person, a complicated figure.
Yeah. She doesn't have the same values, I think, in traditional Democrat, but I just thought it was interesting how he was well, no one really, the press never highlighted her like they did Amy and Elizabeth Warren.
And also the press did dirty too to Elizabeth Warren at one point. And I think it's also, it's being selective with which women you're highlighting, but then also not highlighting women at all, because there was a point where Elizabeth Warren was out of the press, no one was covering her, and I'm she's still there.
Yeah.
She's still one of the top candidates, and no one is talking about her. But they did the same thing with Andrew Yang. That man couldn't even get a word in these debates.
So true.
Yeah, that is really true. Did you guys see the recent thing on CNN with Nina Turner?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
yes, she went in on that woman. We shared that on the So Called Oreos.
Oh, we did? Okay,
Twitter
look at it, guys.
Yeah, if you need to click on it. I think Kia shared it. I watched it.
Oh, damn, I did that last
week. That woman deserved to be shut down. She was like, you can't talk about Martin Luther King
She
Jr.
was trying to explain Martin Luther King to this black woman, and the girl rightfully so went off, because I think it's funny how white people will always try to use MLK against black people as if they didn't kill him.
I know, right? MLK, you're too extreme. Calm down, MLK.
Yeah, it's what?
Huh?
It was crazy. So the white woman is the one who brought up Martin Luther King Jr. and how he would have wanted Biden or whatever.
Yes, that's what she said.
Nina starts reciting Martin Luther King Jr. quotes. She's saying his word, and she's saying it's the white moderate that is actually in danger. And then the woman gets mad that she's quoting correctly Martin Luther King Jr. And she's like, don't you use him against me? I'm like, what the hell?
It was really irritating. If you guys, look at
watch
her
it.
So Called Oreos or watch it. But do you guys have anything else about feminism, white feminism, before we move on to the positive portion?
I think we should move on.
You think we should move on? Rachel, Amari?
I was just going to say Gloria Steinem, who is a white woman, but we fucks with her, said that feminism cannot be feminism if there is white feminism.
Oof.
So,
a word.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So moving forward.
Yeah.
So we want to make this a little positive for you guys. We're just not all white women bashing and male bashing. I feel like anyone who says that, just shut up. Anyway, so we want to highlight the women that were influential to us and are, mentors and who we look up to. So Janae, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I wanted to talk about my grandmas, because I think it's amazing to look back at what older generations had to deal with. My grandmother on my father's side came from Mississippi, from a family of farmers who didn't have much. And to be able to come, I think she was 17 or 19 years old when she came to New York from Mississippi with not a ton of family, not knowing a ton of people. I was talking to her a little while ago and she told me that she first got here and just cried every day. And to be able to adjust to something so new and then become a teacher's assistant and basically just work her way up and find a way to live life comfortably and still be able to help her family and even help support her adult sons at time and help them to where they are today is a beautiful, fantastic thing. And that's something that I will always look to and strive for. That inner strength. And just on inner strength, I want to talk about my other grandma, rest in peace. On my mom's side, she was a single mother raising 8 kids.
Damn.
Crazy.
8 kids?
8 kids.
God bless her.
In the 50s and 60s.
Ooh.
How did you keep the lights on? How did you manage? How did you raise my beautiful, intelligent, amazing mother? I would have given up.
Yeah.
And she pushed through and made it and still had a smile on her face every day. So shout out, grandmas.
That's amazing.
Shout out.
Yes.
Man. Women are just so strong, especially Black women. And I think you really can see that when you look at the women in your family. I just want to highlight all the women in my family, especially my mom. I think, having a Black mother who is a business owner really meant a lot to me growing up. Having a grandmother, Velma Pollard, who is, and she's a well-known Jamaican writer, poet, novelist, and to see her go to talks around the world and just keep up with her schedule has been amazing. My other grandmother was the first Black woman to graduate from a beauty school in California and then went back to Jamaica.
Okay.
Yep. And opened up her own beauty salon. So I think looking at the women in my family, I had no choice but to be a feminist. Amen. They may not have,
come on.
They may not have talked or even mentioned the word feminist to me, but just in their actions and what they were able to do with their lives is just full proof that my path was clearly set for me.
Great.
Yeah.
Rachel, you want to highlight some people?
Yeah, my mom, I think she's an extraordinary woman. She raised 11 kids and not on her own. My dad was there too, but the fact that all of us are well, and she made sure that all of her kids were taken care of, and she sacrificed a lot. She was a stay-at-home mom, and then she realized that she needed to help out, so she took on multiple jobs, and now she's a nurse at a nursing home, and she will do whatever it takes to make sure that her kids are all right, and she just wants the best for her kids. And I get my strength from my mom. And my grandma's a badass on my mom's side. And she always told me that, you don't need a man for nothing. You can do everything on your own. She came to America from Haiti, and she brought all her kids, and she made sure that they were well taken care of. And she's very, very strong. And I appreciate my mom, my grandma, and all the women in my family.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Amen.
I'll highlight some people. So, yeah, my mom, like you guys said, I think naturally you just see how your mom interacts in the world, and you just have as you grow older, you have a more sympathetic with her, raising 2 kids, because I'm the thought of coming home from work with 2 kids makes me want to kill myself. But And I know, like, twins, me and my sister were a lot. And I know, like, sometimes I just am annoying on purpose. So, you know, I'm just like, damn, that is a lot. But yeah, just seeing how, like, kind she is too, like, is really amazing. And then my grandma, like you said, Janae, like, hearing stories from, like, growing up in Alabama and, like, moving north, and, like, how she always has these very important things to say about history and how she lived it and, like, our family and stuff. And it always makes me just think, like, how lucky we are and how like you just don't hate the world going through that. And I'm really grateful for that, to have her alive and tell me all that. So that's really awesome. And then in career wise, the people I look up to, like Issa Rae is a huge one, which this podcast relates to Awkward Black Girl. You know, we talk about that a lot. Yeah, very much so. So that was the first thing that I saw that really resonated with me growing up in white school. And I had followed Issa ever since. And it's just amazing to see how much she's grown and how popular she is now. It's really a blessing to see. And then other people in the industry, like Shonda Rhimes, how Shonda Rhimes is a single mother, 3 kids, and how she was able to basically, like, own ABC Network for Thursday nights is just crazy. That was, like, her first show, Grey's Anatomy. And she got it on ABC, and how she just, like, has this huge deal on Netflix. And then Ava DuVernay, who her first thing she directed was Selma, and now she's one of the biggest directors. It's just amazing. Then also Rihanna, who is my second favorite person besides Obama. Rihanna is just, I just am awe of Rihanna. First of all, how stunning she is. Like, every time I look at her, I'm just like, I cannot believe that God made a human this beautiful. I cannot fathom it.
I love her toes.
Everything about her. I'm just like, she can wear literal trash and it will look amazing because it is Rihanna. And I just, that's crazy. I don't like to start things with beauty with women, but I just had to say that because I was just like, wow. But anyway, how she uses her voice. She does a lot international, and how she does a lot for Barbados. And she met with, like, the president of France, and to do just a lot of work on an international platform is amazing. And then how she started Fenty Beauty, and how she highlights everyone's skin tone and Fenty Beauty, and even her fashion shows, like, just what she does, and how she just seems like a cool friend. Like, how she, like,
honestly,
she's, like, so classy with, like, the way she, like, shoots back at people and people try to attack her. And I just think that's so amazing about her. So I always, like, look up to her and, like, wow, I wish I can have a voice to, like, affect that many people. It's just like, and how she just levels up. Like, come on, she was dating a billionaire and then let him go. Like, I stand forever. So yeah, that's people I want to highlight. I love Rihanna. My God.
Love Riri.
Yes.
Rachel, you want to talk mental health?
Yes, time to talk mental health. So on this segment, I want to talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. PTSD is a mental illness that is triggered after experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event. A traumatic event can be an accident, assault, military combat, or natural disasters, just to name a few. These events can have lasting effects on a person's mental health, and PTSD can occur at any age. PTSD affects 3.6% of the U.S. adult population, about 9 million individuals. Women are significantly more likely to experience PTSD than men. A few symptoms are re-experiencing the traumatic event, such as recurring, involuntary, and intrusive distressing memories, which can include flashbacks of the trauma, bad dreams, and intrusive thoughts. Avoidance, staying away from certain places, objects, or person that might activate overwhelming symptoms. Cognitive and mood symptoms can include trouble recalling the event, negative thoughts about oneself, and symptoms of PTSD usually begin 3 months after experiencing or being exposed to a traumatic event. Symptoms can also emerge years afterward. Treatment is psychotherapy, medication, self-management strategies such as self-soothing and mindfulness are helpful to ground a person and bring them back to reality. Service animals, especially dogs, can help soothe some of the symptoms. that is all for the time to talk mental health.
Okay.
Janae with the shits.
Yeah. I still haven't figured out a name for this segment, so I kind of like change it every week.
I like it. Change it
I kind
up.
of like it.
Yeah, the shits.
Just won't say, I won't say with the shits next time. Just say Janae got it.
Oh, Janae with the shits. That can be taken so many ways. I don't have the shits. I'm feeling good today.
Hey.
But anyway. So Shannon wrote in this week. She said, "Hey all, I love your show and want you to keep doing what you're doing. I'm writing in because I've been having a bit of roommate drama. So I live in a very expensive neighborhood in a very small apartment with 2 other people. With all that said, I do love the apartment and I generally get along with the people I live with. Recently, a great opportunity fell into my lap to move into a spacious room with beautiful floor to ceiling windows and a walk-in closet. So I leapt at the opportunity. Of course, I let my old roommates know as soon as I agreed to start the process of getting the other room and volunteered to find my substitute. I understand that I am breaking my current lease and I'm trying to be as much of a team player as I possibly can. The issue is my 2 old roommates are making finding someone to fill my place impossible. I created a spreadsheet of prospective viewers and organized times of viewings. Everyone I picked was too young or too old, or their job seemed too unstable. When I first told them about leaving, they even tried to push me to put the listing up before I even knew I got the other room. Dang. My question is, how much should I fight back here? I am the one who is breaking the lease, so would I be dead wrong for telling them to chill out? Let me know. Thanks.
I've had some roommate issues, so
But why does she care? I'm confused. Because she's leaving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what, like, how much involved is she in this decision?
Well, I think because if you're breaking the lease and you leave, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I get why her roommates would want to make sure that they would like whoever is coming into their space, but it is ultimately up to her.
Exactly.
Who's going to take her room, because she is leaving and she needs someone to take it over. I would say if it seems like it's going to become an issue and you can afford to do it based off of how much time is between you breaking the lease and the lease being over or like up for renewal, my ass might just pay that time, and if they can get a roommate in at some point, I don't know, but I can see how it might be messy, especially if they're trying to like manipulate the process.
Yeah, and depending on your relationship prior to everything with them. I mean, you don't want to completely end the relationship on a sour note. I get that. But I think you're completely within your right to tell them to chill. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who's breaking the lease, so you're responsible with finding a substitute. And if they're just being picky, like you said, about them being too old or too young, I'd sit them down and say, look, guys, we have a finite amount of time to get this done. And I'm being as cooperative as I possibly can, but you guys have to give me some wiggle room here.
Yeah,
because
I think
you're not making this easy.
If it's closer to like the date where you have to leave and they're still being picky, I think that's when it's like, okay, well, I'm leaving regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can either take this person or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it got to be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it works out and they find someone, but it's also like if you live in New York City, like
you live in New York City, it's not that hard.
Yeah. And also I think that's interesting too, because like it's like, yeah, you should be responsible because you're breaking it for who gets in the room, but also with my last apartment, I had incredible roommates and they banded together to find the person that they wanted to take over my room. Yeah. And it wasn't hard. Like, so I don't understand why your roommates can't, if they could also, if they don't like who you're bringing to the table, take it upon themselves to find who should replace the room.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because like, if you leave and you're like, I'm not paying, their ass has to pay.
Yeah. To me, it just sounds like their butt hurt. And they need to get over it. Like, honestly, I get it. It's super annoying and inconvenient that at whatever point in your lease, your roommate is just kind of like, I want to leave. That's annoying as hell. I've been through it. But at the same time, you have to respect that person's wishes. Like, you just have to. And just get over it. Like,
hopefully it all works out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully your new place works out for you too.
Yeah.
Because floor to ceiling windows and a walk-in closet.
Come on now, you
in
got
New York
money.
City? What? My God.
My ass would be there too. You need a roommate?
Good luck,
For
Shannon.
free.
We wish you luck.
Okay, well, I think we're all good for this episode, right, guys?
Yeah.
So
Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for joining us this week, fellow Oreos. I hope you enjoyed it. Please follow us on all social media at So Called Oreos, and you can also email us at socalledoreos@gmail.com. Our inbox is always open. We also have a new survey where you can give us feedback. You can find it on our Instagram, our Twitter, everywhere.
The show notes.
Basically.
It'll be in the show notes.
Yeah. And the show notes. Sorry, show notes. Please take the survey because we really want to make sure that we make this podcast what you guys want because it doesn't exist without you. And you can listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Stitchers, Pandora, Google Play, anywhere that plays podcasts. And please remember to like, rate, subscribe, and leave a review. Thanks for listening, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.